Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the South Node in the 8th house in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, the South Node is associated with what we may overemphasize or accentuate very strongly, generally in the first part of our lives, and we hit a point where this could be kind of like the redundancy spot in the horoscope, as I refer to it as, and something that gets monotonous after a while. The South Node is something that we may not eradicate 100% in our lives, but what we do is we generally feel more inclined or compelled to go to the North Node in the latter part of our lives and maybe integrate the South Node just a little bit into this without eliminating it 100%. And the North Node, as we know, is connected with our mission or purpose, soul's mission or purpose in our lives. So anyway, the first thing about this is that look at the South Node. There might be an inclination or propensity in the South Node in the 8th house to maybe be a little more dependent on a partner's resources or somebody else's resources than what's necessary. This person this could be the person that may have inherited an exorbitant amount of money or felt that maybe through inheritance or collecting money on some kind of on a person's life insurance, if something happened to this person, that they wouldn't have any financial worries or things of a monetary nature to be concerned about. Now, it's possible that this person may have inherited something and or collected on an insurance policy. But what happens is, even whether this is the case or not, the person hits a point in time in their lives where they kind of look at things and say, well, thinking about other people, someone else's resources, maybe trying to be dependent on this, it might get monotonous and redundant for this person. Now, this is something where somebody with the South Node in the 8th house, it doesn't mean that necessarily that they're not self-sufficient or they haven't earned or generated money on their own, but what it could simply mean is that there might have been still a little more emphasis on someone else's resources than average. So basically what this could mean as well is when somebody has this placement, it could indicate that maybe this person might have been overindulgent in perhaps in their sexual or sensual interests. This might be somebody with the South Node in the 8th house. We look at this placement and they might have experienced some number of upheavals, and this could have impacted money that they made. Maybe the income was somewhat sporadic, and this could be a person that would feel that, well, if something doesn't go right with my job, I always have this backup battery, and that backup battery could be the other person or somebody else. It could be a significant other in their resources. Now, when we look at this placement, when a person hits maybe close to 30, or around approximately 30 years old, they may see, well, this is getting monotonous. I need to start focusing solely, more so than ever before, with a lot of single-minded purpose and persistence and determination to generate all my income. Is pretty much, it's going to be the main thing for me as far as money goes. Now, it doesn't mean that this person, if this person has a significant other or sexual partner they might have, or friends or whatever, they might still have some resources that are connected with somebody else, but there's more of a purpose to make the money on their own money, and they're less concerned of somebody else's possessions, somebody else's money. They just basically, they have more of the need to acquire things based on their own ability and nobody else's, and to strive for greater financial acumen in general, and ability to be self-reliant and self-sufficient in these matters. Now, with the South Node in the 8th, this person may have been somewhat, I guess, lack of a better choice of words, somewhat proficient in in having somebody as that backup battery if something didn't go right with his or her own job or career, or somebody to quote-unquote bail them out at the appropriate time from financial plight or predicament. But the south node in the 8th means the person has the north node in the 2nd, and there comes that point in time where this person says, okay, I'm going to start doing virtually everything as far as a financial nature on my own, and that's basically and that's pretty much it. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the south node in the 8th house in the natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the south node in the 9th house in the natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis on a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person, astrologically, is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.